Hey, how's it going? I just want to do a video on spiritual power. And, it looks like there's some discussion online about, spiritual powers and receiving them in the end times and the end of the end times and stuff like that. And, it's for me personally, when I hear stuff like that, I don't know, honestly, I'm not an expert in this at all, so I would not claim to argue or debate it to any serious degree. But for me personally, what's in my spirit, what's in my mind is that that's definitely not something I look forward to. It's like, to me, that's like more work. I don't enjoy the thought of killing people. And it's not that I don't have anger towards the society, but for me personally, it's like I wouldn't necessarily know who to kill, and and I would think I should be killed. It's like, I don't know. It's not like I'm innocent in this whole you know situation worldwide. I mean, it's not like I might not be the most evil, but I've certainly contributed some amount to it, and so that would be strange for me to sort of overcome mentally. But these kind of things are not certainly not up to me, and I didn't ask to be born either to the family that I was born in, and I didn't ask to be born. I didn't petition for it. So this is obviously a function of the Most High's doing, and so I would just do whatever he asked or whatever. So but me personally, it's not something that I'm like chomping at the bit for. But I do feel like, and I do know that we have spiritual power just by knowing the truth. And this is you can prove, and it's been proven over and over. It's not theoretical and hypothetical or whatever. It's true. You can go and prove it. You can prove it today. So what I mean by this is that the truth itself has spiritual power, and what it helps a person do, is to discern people who are spiritual, and has the power to remove people who are not from your presence. And it's very easy. Works 10 out of 10 times. And just to give you an example, like I was taking a Lyft back yesterday, and I talked to the driver, and I always introduce myself most of the time, and like, do you believe in conspiracy theories? And then this guy took the bait, and he's like, yeah, and then or I follow them, and I'm like, well, I have a good one for you. So I go into flat Earth as the starting point, and then so I told him about flat Earth, that I believe that the Earth is flat. I know that the Earth is flat, and I gave him a thought experiment. He's like, yeah, that makes sense. And before I brought up flat Earth, we were talking about golf and stuff, and then we went into that, and I asked him if he was a spiritual person, and he said yes. And so I kind of gave him the flat Earth spiel, and then just a few minutes after, he thought about it, and then just a few minutes later, he's like talking right back about golf again. From what I viewed, was unmoved by what I just told him. And the reality is that if I could actually prove with 100% certainty to somebody that the Earth is flat, for all of us as humans, it would be completely life-changing. And it shouldn't take that for us to believe that there's a God, but it would be, absolutely final. There's no room for doubt. If we're sitting on a flat surface that's not moving, and the sun and the moon are rotating above us, and we've been taught something totally different, that there's no way that was created by accident. It's like absolutely absurd to believe that, and people would be killed if they would believe that. If it was known that the Earth is flat and not moving, and we have like a firmament, a dome covering us, and that's known, it's proven, and we don't know what's outside of us, and people somehow thought that was just by chance, those people would be isolated, and at best and at worst they would be killed, because that's stupid to believe that. That those people are obviously evil, planted by God, but still, like, they would be treated as madmen and madwomen. So flat Earth has huge implications, and it's like, to me, this is one example of spiritual power, is that I was in the car with the guy, so he's not going to like leave my presence. He has no choice. But I've been in many situations, and I see this every day, really, as the brothers post videos when they're interacting with people out in the world, is that, like, if you say anything that's in the realm of truth, or gets people to go down a path of truth, logical thinking, and Jesus Yahushua is described as as the way, the truth, and the life, and he's described as logos. He's logical. You know, there's a manner of thinking that God has. You know, and it's truthful, and it's the way, and it will provide life. You know, we know that. So, you know, people, you know, what I've noticed is people who have an, you know, averse to the truth or don't have an appreciation for it. You can't even step a couple steps down that path because they know that, you know, that they're going to be forced to think about something that is truthful, you know, and then one would believe that it is the way, and it would be the you know, key to life, you know, and everlasting life potentially. So you would have to be spiritual to appreciate it. And so, you know, that's spiritual power. It's that you bring up, you don't have to bring up flat earth. You can, you know, Jesus' skin color is a common one. The penalty for slavery, you know, these are all common things that, you know, I see on these videos that, you know, people immediately get uncomfortable, and then either they really want to talk about it or they're out, you know. And so just to use a simple example too, is that a couple years ago I was talking to my boss. We were driving home from like a site visit, and we started talking about spiritual stuff. And then like first I was telling him about, you know, I was like, you know, so you're a Christian, you know, so you must believe the Jews exist today on earth, you know, and because, you know, they're in the first books to the last book, you know, so, you know, who are they? And so didn't want to go down that road, you know, and I've even talked to people who could potentially be Israelites who don't want to talk about it because they know what the implications are, and it's like for us it's obvious, like you don't have to be really that big of a genius or a Bible scholar to know that if you believe in the Bible, it is relatively simple to figure out where the Jews are concentrated. That majority of them are in America, and, you know, the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, they fit the profile, you know, of people, of Israelites. And so, you know, I started that, and that didn't work. And then we got to other conversation about 40-hour work, like the work week. I just brought this up knowing that I was kind of testing, you know, experimenting, you know, having a so-called devout Christian, because he was like trying to get me to like go to a church that he would recommend, and I'm like, this guy doesn't even believe that the Jews exist today, or doesn't want to talk about it. So I'm like, what kind of church are you sending me to? And then so I asked about even a simpler truth, a lower level truth about the 40-hour work week. Where did that come from? You know, and then obviously to me, I believe that the human body is obviously designed to work, but to me, it's not designed to work 40 hours sitting at a chair doing mind-numbing work, which a lot of corporate people have, and they're lucky if they have that. A lot of them are working much more, and a lot of people are working much more doing physical labor. So, you know, the body's not designed for that. You know, I don't care how strong you are or whatever. It's like there's no way the human body that we have right now is designed for that type of work for 40 years, and then coupled with emotional stress and, you know, all that. It's just not the way our body is designed. Our mind's not designed for that, much less our physical body. So, you know, that's this is the work of Satan, you know, and obviously we hope that this time is cut short. I suspect the elect are getting very tired of living, so we hope that that they're crying to God regularly. I certainly know I am. But you know, they don't want to talk about this truth, you know, this truth that the work week, that the corporate setup is satanic, you know, and I've even had trouble talking to people about this who hate this system, you know, and are tired and beaten down. They still don't want to talk about how evil the system is. So this to me is spiritual power. It's like you quickly will know who is spiritual and who's not, you know. And it's like, again, I'm not trying to say I'm some superstar spiritual person, or I don't even know, you know, like what's going on, but clearly I enjoy talking about these situations, not strictly because it makes other people uncomfortable. In fact, I don't like that aspect of it, but we have no choice. But I do like talking about, and I feel like the only thing I like talking about lately is how evil this world is, you know, and learning more and more about it every day, you know. And so that's not popular conversation amongst people who I feel are not spiritual, you know. And these are people that are not necessarily good or evil. They're just implanted here by God, you know, to play out a certain role, and that's it, you know. And you can kind of find them out easily, you know. The true evil, hardcore evil people, the Bushes and Clintons and Obama and all these leaders that we know are just, you know, puppets and stuff, we know that they're evil now, you know, and even people who are ardent supporters of Obama, I feel like, are starting to like understand that, you know, all the political leaders are just, you know, talking pieces. Like they're just mouthpieces for, you know, some other agenda. So we're, you know, the world's catching on to it, but especially if you're a flat earther. But so, you know, this is spiritual power. You know, the truth definitely equips you with spiritual power. It allows you to use it to really, you know, resonate and connect with people who are spiritual, and gives you the power to get people away from you who are not, you know. And flat earth, Jesus, Yahushua, skin color, who the real Jews are, corporate America in general, you know, the moon landing. I mean, there's so many different things now that we know are like provably true, and you know, with almost 100% certainty that, you know, it does equip us with great spiritual power. The Bible does warn us, though, that there will be few of us, you know, who love truth, you know, and just loving truth doesn't mean that you're righteous. I definitely affirm that. But, you know, you're already in a small group if you love truth and love talking about it. And then even in that group, there's an even smaller group who love truth and also are righteous, you know, and do righteous things, or strive to be righteous as much as humans can. And so, and we look forward to those individuals leading this earth. They can't do any worse than what's going on right now. But so there is spiritual power, you know, in just the truth itself. And you know, you can, and this is why I know I'm tough on GMS and the Israelites, and, you know, basically all the groups really. They don't really want to talk about truth, you know, and it's like people, you know, get uncomfortable because you kind of, especially if you watch a lot of their videos, you kind of know where they're weak, where they're off, and so, you know, to us it's very plain to see, you know, like that they're going off, you know, and we can bring it up to them, and then they don't like it, you know, obviously. But, you know, this is where, you know, I feel like there's people at certain different levels, you know, of truth, and it doesn't mean you're better or worse than anybody else necessarily, but, you know, God gives everybody a different amount of appreciation for the truth. And so, you know, to me, it's like they obviously have some amount of truth, but, you know, at this point we know that the earth is flat. So, for example, pretty much almost all of the the main ones online, you know, believe that we're on a ball spinning violently through space. So, again, I'm not saying that they're bad people or anything like that, but, you know, it's like one would think that you know, just talking about it, you know, shouldn't be as controversial as it is. You know, like they get really defensive and stuff like that. You would think that this would be good news, you know, because it again even more reaffirms that we're in the end times, and, you know, the Bible's true because the Bible supports a flat earth, that earth that's not moving, and so. It seems strange, you know, but to me this is all spiritual. You know, God gives people, you know, different freedoms, you know, to think in their mind about certain things, and he puts limits for people. Like, you can sit there and argue with people all day about flat earth, or, you know, the Bible and Jesus' skin color or whatever, and they won't get it, you know, and they will never get it, you know. And you could even, like, you know, when Jesus is being crucified, you could sit there and debate with those people all day, you know, well, how stupid it is. Like, why are you doing this? Like, what do you plan to get from pursuing this death, you know, this killing, this wicked, you know, way to kill someone who is the only pure thing to step on this earth? Why would you do this? Like, what are you really gonna, when you sit and you're about to die, are you gonna look back upon this situation fondly? Like, you're gonna get something from it, you know? It's like you can argue and debate with these people all day, you know, but they're just gonna go ahead and do it because God has given them only a certain amount of faith, or no faith at all. And so, you know, it is becoming very obvious, you know, to a lot of us that, you know, the truth is in itself a spiritual power.